Man, this documentary on Netflix right now. I've been waiting on.
Oh yeah.
Yes, I've been waiting on this thing for a couple of years. It's about a girl that went missing with her, and like she was with her fiance, and she went missing or whatever. And like they were trying to figure out what happened to her and stuff. And they found out that he killed her and stuff. And like I was actually keeping up with the story because I was hearing about it on the
Mm.
radio. I even told Marcus about it, and I was like, I think I told him, I said, this is definitely going to be a documentary, and I'm waiting for that to come out because
Oh wow.
I'm wondering what happened. I'm curious. Of course, I feel bad for the girl's family. That's of course that's terrible, but that's why I guess we watch murder mystery documentaries.
Yeah. Yeah. When did that happen?
A couple of years ago, I think
Mm.
maybe in 2021.
Mm. Okay.
So
So
yeah,
you were
so it's
keeping up with it when it happened.
yeah. Like when she first went missing, that's where I heard about it, and he was
Mm.
because I should spoil what happened to him because I do know what happened.
Is
But
it like a one-time documentary or is it like a
it's a 3 episode
docu?
documentary
Okay.
on Netflix.
Okay.
I
I'm
saw
gonna
it
check
popped
it
up,
out.
and I said, I am watching that immediately. So
Okay. All right.
I'm not spoiling nothing because I'm like, maybe we might talk about it on the podcast. I don't know because I was
Mm-hmm.
like,
Mm-hmm.
I kind of, I haven't watched documentaries in a while, but I kind of like those
Yeah.
murder mystery documentaries. I don't know why.
Mm.
I don't, but a lot of people are interested in that stuff.
Okay. Okay. Speaking of documentaries, what we talking about this time? Not a documentary.
We're talking about the documentary of the Captain America Brave New World, this real
Yep.
life thing that happened.
Yep.
Let's introduce ourselves. I am Josh, aka Prop Josh, joined by Jason, aka Smiley.
Hey, I'm here.
Oh man, we didn't talk about. We should have did our pre-show about the halftime show. That's what we should have
Oh
did.
yeah. We did.
But it's a week later.
It's a week and it's old news.
Yes. Oh, nobody's talking about it anymore.
Nobody's talking about it at all.
But I will plug Carlton's podcast, Carlton's
Yeah.
World.
If you want to
Give
hear
that a
thoughts.
listen. Yeah. A friend to the podcast, so that's a
Mm-hmm. No,
we'll call that a sister podcast, no, brother podcast.
brother podcast. But yeah, you did mention it as soon as the image came up. It's like that's the meme of the week, and it was.
Oh man, 100%.
Yes. Like you called it immediately.
Immediately, I told you the minute it happened. I said
like,
that's gonna be the meme of the week.
As soon as the show was over with, you were like, "Yeah, this is the meme of the week. This is the meme of the week," and it was. It absolutely was. So,
dude, I gotta say though, for real, because of that halftime show, this has really been a thing for Black people being American. This whole month has been like basically a middle finger to the racist Americans. Like, guess what? Black people are Americans,
and this is perfect. Like, this is a perfect episode to talk about.
Exactly, because I'm just saying, like, I was just thinking about it because I was like, you had Beyonce winning her country album.
Award, yeah.
You had, of course, Kendrick's halftime show and the way he did it. It was all American, but with Black people, and you got Samuel Jackson being Uncle Sam, and then you got the Black Captain America. It's like this all happened back to back in one month.
No, barely a week. If you take in the Grammys, Super Bowl, and this is like 2.5 weeks.
Within 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Like we showed
10
our
days
ass this month.
So,
like, guess what? We're American because, like, I feel like a lot of racists think that only white people are American. It's like, no, we are American, and we talking about this movie that shows it.
I am Captain America. I am Malcolm X. So I am Captain America. Okay, all right.
So, what Josh got this time, which I haven't done in a while.
Oh, so I went to Target yesterday and I bought Captain Thomas. I did see the figure though. I saw Sam Wilson, Captain America's figure. So what do you have?
Well, I have Sam Wilson, Captain America. actually, I have
Oh.
actually I have two. This is the first one. This is the one from Falcon and the Winter Soldier,
Mm-hmm.
which I do like. It grew on me a lot, but this is a good costume for him.
Yeah.
And of course, he has his wings separate from it and stuff, and he can't
Okay.
or whatever. And of course, he has a shield. I put his shield. Actually, I gave his shield to this one.
That's the new one
Yep.
from the movie. That's
Yep.
extra American.
Yes, he's extra American.
Man.
I love it because I passed by it, I saw it, and I was like, I don't know. Then I thought about it, I said, yeah, I gotta get this, man.
What's
It's
from
a
that
black
from?
Captain America. This is from the latest movie.
I'm saying like what figure line?
The
We're not
Captain
sponsoring
America.
them. I'm talking about like what company.
Oh, Hasbro.
Okay.
Oh, Marvel Legends. That's the only. Yeah.
That's the only one that does these.
Yeah. I mean, there is a hot toy coming out of him like this.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it's gonna be expensive as fuck. I'm not getting it, even though I'm tempted. But I don't get too many hot toys because they're too big. And yeah, I love this thing, man. That's why I put it on a. Shut up. The only problem was that the shield broke for this one. So this is the other one shield.
Shields aren't supposed to break.
Well, the thing was, you see how these little parts are inside where he holds it.
Yeah.
The other one, the one that came with his, didn't have that. It had like a little
like a clip
plastic
or something.
thing, little clip thing. Yeah, and that thing snapped because they're doing it so you could put it on his back.
Got it. Yeah. Okay, so you gave him that shield instead.
Yeah. I'm gonna just have them share a shield because I have a lot of Captain Americas.
And how many Falcons do you have?
Shoot, honestly, have one. Then, if I'm not counting those two Captain Americas that are Sam Wilson's, I have one Falcon action figure. So, but I have 3 Sam Wilson.
Then you have, wasn't a Falcon figure in Hype Force?
Yes, he was. We called him Redbird.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have that toy anymore. That was a long time ago.
Okay, that's shout out to that. So
and if I count the comic book Falcon,
that was
then
20
I have 2
years ago.
Yeah, I know, man. yes, it was. I have two Sam Wilson figures. Then.
Okay.
I mean, Captain Falcon figures. I can't keep up. One of these days, I'll have to do a whole podcast episode just talking about how many action figures I got and who and what and how many and what number.
Man, you really should archive and just write them all out.
Do that. That would take a week and 3 years.
A week and 3 years. A week and 3 years. Oh my goodness, that's what you can pay your roommate to do. Like archive my action figures so she can get some allowance,
Right. Yeah. That's a whole nother thing.
Mm-hmm.
So what are your thoughts on Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
Yeah. I mean, we get a lot of content out, and I don't remember, I didn't rewatch it. So that's the thing. It's like sometimes whenever I have a like a sequel or some like another, that's a continuation, I would try to rewatch the things that it needed to be watched, and I didn't rewatch anything because I know there's a lot of different little references from different shows, the movies, and so, but the immediate reaction of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I think there was like, I had some expectations of I had some some hopes and dreams of like, okay, this is going to be an interesting Falcon and Winter Soldier show. I think I liked the way that it felt like it brought the MCU to the screen, to the TV screen in a way that was more than the other shows, you know what I mean? So like the other shows that came out, because like WandaVision wasn't like, it really felt like TV, like, but they made it unique, and so I was like, okay, this is not quite, but this felt like an Avengers, Captain America miniseries movie, like you could have made it into a movie or a show, and so it kind of
It
worked.
was for me. It was definitely one of the better, if not the best, of the Disney Plus Marvel
Marvel
shows.
shows, yeah. Because which
Yeah,
ones you had? You got WandaVision, you got um
Falcon, Winter
Falcon
Soldier,
Winter
and
Soldier.
you have um, what's his name? What If? You got
Oh
What
yeah,
If, and you have Moon Knight,
Moon Knight. That's right.
um, um,
Marvel
Marvel Girl, whatever her
girl.
name is. Um, what else? Because they didn't. Oh crap! Did they have anything else after that?
I mean, you
Oh,
got
She
the
Hulk. She
and
Hulk.
She Hulk, and you got Nick Fury's show.
Oh yeah. What was his the Invasion?
Yeah, I forgot the name of it, but yeah,
Yeah. I think that was the
they could have
last
just
one,
called
was
it
it?
Nick Fury.
I
That's what
know
it
they
should
might
have
as well
called.
have. It was next. Yeah, they might as well have.
So it's like that's what we
And
call it.
naming all those shows, I was like, they were all kind of, for the most part, bland, with the exception of WandaVision wasn't bland. I really enjoyed
WandaVision
WandaVision.
was unique, and I think that it was
Yeah,
definitely one of those that yeah, it's set apart, and it came out during a time that we were all stuck at home anyway, and so it was really interesting
right.
to
So
see
it
like,
was what it was needed. It was
and it was
definitely
like,
needed.
you
Is
know,
the
a
first
weekly
one,
show too. It was like, okay, we're going back to the tradition of a weekly show instead of binging everything at once.
right,
And so that was, and Disney Plus is new, and so we're like, okay, like
right. So that's what happened with that. And for me, What If the first season of What If was great,
I didn't
but
even
then it
watch the
just
second season.
declined. Yeah, it
Okay,
declined.
I didn't even try to
So
even
exactly.
compare.
You and Marcus were like, "Didn't even watch the second season." And I'm gonna
I
tell
don't
you
even
right
know how
now,
bad it is. Like I
you
didn't
don't
even
need
try.
to. It just declined because season three was
Wow.
worse than season two.
Wow. So yeah,
Yes,
I
for
only
real.
watched season one, which was great, and I
The
never watched
only
the
thing I
others.
liked about season three was they kind of did a Black Avengers type episode.
Okay. So I
Yeah,
just got to watch that one episode because that's the thing about,
because it was kind of a Power Rangers
yeah.
type thing. It was
Okay.
that was my that, and I think it's the first episode of the season,
All right.
and I was like, okay, kind of Black Avengers Power Ranger type thing with that,
Yeah. But I
you
think
know.
the thoughts of that show, I think there was two things that stuck out to me. One, highlighting um the original black uh Captain
Captain
America.
America,
Yeah,
yeah,
so that was really cool the way they did that. And
yeah.
showed that, because like, okay, yes, that's cool. And then of course the fake Captain America that was a murderer.
Oh yes, that we kind of feel bad for after a while because he's going to be in the
Yeah.
Thunderbolts.
Yeah, yep,
What's his
he
name?
is. Yes, he is.
Because he's
Because I
not
was
a
thinking about that.
terrible person. He's just more like
Yeah.
wrong place at the wrong time kind of
Hmm.
guy, you know.
Yep. He will be in the Thunderbolts. But yeah, so that's my two most memorable moments. And then of course when Falcon finally got the suit, and it was like, oh yeah, that was dope.
Yeah.
And so that last episode and last fight scenes and all that stuff was pretty epic.
Yeah,
But
I
I
like the
honestly don't
show.
remember the plot. I don't remember what actually, other than I mentioned those
Well,
things, but I
they had to
forget.
deal with the Flag Smashers, the terrorist group, and like basically, and on the sideline, it was about Sam Wilson figuring out if he should have the shield because the first thing he does is
Yeah,
give
that's
the
right.
shield back
Right, that's
after
right. Okay, I
Steve
remember
Rogers
that now.
gave it to him because they do kind of do it as a afterthought thing at the end of Endgame. The end of
Yeah.
Endgame is kind of like, oh, by the way, you're gonna be Captain America, and then it goes
Right.
off. It
Yeah.
literally goes off right after that.
So what's he supposed to do with that? Like
Right.
he's not he never thought about himself being a Captain America. He's the Falcon, and so it's like, what are
Right.
you talking about? Like, I know you're retired or disappearing into whatever, but because he
And why
basically
did he
grew.
choose Sam over Bucky?
Yeah.
You know, because it's like Bucky's clearly his BFF. So you
Hmm.
think he would go with Bucky. Bucky has the super serum, but the show kind of showed you why he
Right.
chose the show. Yeah, the show itself was like, this is why he chose Sam over Bucky.
And you
And it
could
made
have,
sense.
and it could have went either way.
It really could have.
Even
Yeah.
after, even with the title, like the writers could have just said, you know what, we wanted to go with him as the Captain America. You know, they
Right.
could have went there, but they didn't.
Yeah.
And so I didn't mind it, and it was.
I mean,
cool
they
to see.
both have been Captain America in the comics, so it
Mhm.
literally
could
could
have
have
worked.
went either
It could have
way.
worked either way.
Yeah.
So
But I think after that show, it showed you why Sam was a great choice to be Captain America. Like, okay, and he's the only one that didn't take the super soldier serum.
yeah,
He's human while doing this, but he's a black man. I think that the show definitely showed like how to deal with race issues, where the rest of the Marvel shows and movies did
Right, because
not.
he had
This is
he
the
had
only
problems with
time.
his sister was dealing with some issues with some
Yeah, he
like
couldn't get a
trying to get a
loan and
loan.
stuff.
Right, it
The
was like
police were about to
like
arrest him and stuff. He's like,
so
and
yeah,
it's like, you not know who this is? And he's like,
yeah,
oh, we didn't
yeah.
know it was you. It's like, oh, because you
Hmm.
didn't know it was me, an
Hmm.
Avenger. But
Right.
otherwise, you just see some nigga in the street.
Yep. So
And that,
yeah.
so I remember we talked about this on the episode last year when we were talking about black superheroes and why
Mm.
when we had Power on, and I said why I think Sam Wilson should be Captain America, and I was like, I really and I said it early in this episode, like because we need to remind black people, remind everyone that black people
We're
we
American.
are Americans,
Yeah.
and why not have him Sam Wilson represent that? So
Yeah.
I'm very happy and proud that he's Captain America.
Yeah, I think it works, and I think that's where, as we enter into this movie, it picks up kind of where that left off. He's basically because he accepted the shield and just embraced it and redesigned his suit, and everything was like okay. And your friend was in that movie in this show too, right? Yeah. So shout out Wakanda. Uh, so yeah.
So now let's get our ratings.
Yeah. So yeah, we were gonna do something different. Like we're trying to we were thinking about our review, so we're not walking through the whole movie, but we're gonna just kind of share our thoughts about it, and then we're like, hey, let's start off with our ratings. So I was thinking about this. So I know you watched it the day it came out. I just watched it
Yep.
today, so it's still fresh in my mind. I'm thinking, do you want to go first? Because I'm still confirming mine.
Okay, so I'll put it this way: when I first came out of there, I was giving it a low replay, and now that I let it sit with me for a few days, it's a replay.
Didn't really move much. You didn't move much.
Maybe a high replay, but
Okay.
it's still in the replay area.
Yeah, it's a solid replay. So just a reminder, if you the first time listening to Lois is Trash, then there's Do Over, Replay, Sequel, and then Neck Bleed. And so Neck Bleed is the highest. So you usually think about 4. And so yeah, Replay for me. I think like it definitely wasn't. I didn't feel like it was a low replay. I just thought it was a solid replay. And so yeah, if you wanna know why we thought that, stay tuned and listen more. So let's keep going.
I just wanted to hear their ratings. Well, I'm done. Clicked off.
So yeah, I guess we're gonna talk a little bit about non-spoiler at first for a few minutes.
Yes, we're only going to talk about stuff that showed up in the trailers.
So yeah, which even with that, I feel like that kind of spoiled the movie. Honestly,
yes.
And so maybe my rating.
It's hard to avoid the trailer or anything because even the poster spoils the movie.
Right, the poster spoils it. Because honestly, like I think the first time I didn't realize, like I knew, like I saw like a shoulder of Red Hulk or something like that, and so I was like, okay, Red Hulk's in it. But then when I saw the trailer and saw his face, I was like, oh, and that really spoiled it for me.
Yes, that spoiled it for everybody. But
I think I even told you, I was like, I can't believe that I didn't realize, because I think I said I didn't realize that Harrison Ford was going to be the Red Hulk, because I didn't know that. Like I knew he was replacing a character that
an actor that
passed away, and so I knew that he was stepping in for that role. So he's doing the same role but a different actor. But I didn't realize that he was going to be the Red Hulk until they showed it in the trailer, and that was kind of like,
yeah, they shouldn't have did that. That's part of my reason for my rating, is that it's all this build up for the Red Hulk, and I was like, that's it. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, they showed us this in the trailer, so it's like they kind of show the climax in the trailer, and it's like, imagine if you didn't show that and you just was surprised while watching the movie. You're like,
exactly. Because there was, I guess, would that get you what would make people, and this is marketing teams, like what gets people into a movie? People that's going to be Marvel fans are going to watch it regardless, like anyway. Like Marvel people are going to watch.
They're trying to get more than just the Marvel fans.
And so, maybe that, I don't know. I'll be curious to know if that helped to get people in the room.
Yeah, because it did pretty good over the weekend. A lot of
Okay.
people went and saw
Well, I
it.
mean, it's not a lot of choices to choose from, and you know, it's a holiday weekend, both Valentine's Day and President's Day, and so it's kind of like, you know, what you gonna do? Go to the
Right,
movies.
right.
so, so I mean,
Yeah, how
that's
would you get
fair.
people in there? Because it's like, because this movie is more grounded. Because the Captain America movies are more grounded, with the exception of like Civil War. You know, Civil War is more of an Avengers movie,
Yeah.
but the other movies
Like,
are
they
grounded.
don't really deal with a lot of alien stuff, you know. It's and usually the only most powerful person is Captain America. You know, it's
Right,
like,
right.
and he's dealing with more corruption and, you know, wars and stuff like that. So I
Right,
mean,
and each Captain America movie is basically where he is in his life. The first one
mm,
is his origin, where
right,
he is like getting started. The second one is like, okay, he's in this time now, so but he finds out about Bucky and Winter Soldier, and a lot of people love the Winter. I think, yeah, Winter Soldier is definitely one of the best
it
Marvel
is a
movies.
really good movie.
Yeah,
It
but
is
my
really
personal
good,
favorite was Civil War, because Civil
which
War just
is
shows where
pretty
he
good.
is with the Avengers.
And their tension, and that was good. That was just
Right,
definitely
right.
I feel like that was that was the, would say, almost the climax of the story arc that we were in. Like Captain America Civil War was like the, you know, I mean, of course, you know, Infinity War's Endgame was ultimate, but like Civil War was like the moment of like, oh man, this is serious. Like, where are we gonna go from
Civil
here?
War, you couldn't skip Civil War.
No,
Like
yeah, it's
that was
foundational.
a pivotal Marvel
Yeah,
movie. It's like
it's
you
like
cannot skip this
it
one
is
at
the
all.
bridge
They're
of all
still talking
movies.
about that
Yeah,
movie.
yeah, yeah. And that's the thing. Like the new Spider-Man show is kind of talking about that movie.
Yeah.
But
Like if you skip that movie, you wouldn't know who Black Panther was. You wouldn't
that's
know who
true.
Spider Man
Yep,
was.
that's
You
true.
wouldn't,
All those, that's
you
who
know.
introduced them. They introduced all those people there. So yeah, it was definitely a pivotal. So I mean, you know, as far as the non-spoiler, like, you know, coming in, the feelings behind it, the movie has, you know, great fight scenes, and they're pretty, um, you know, I would say there's a lot of fight scenes. I did like uh the way that they kind of followed Sam and his style of fighting, you know, with the combination of which is what I loved about the last episode of the you know, of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It was like, okay, he's fighting with both his wings and the shield. Like, he's embraced
Yeah,
that.
because the thing about Falcon and Winter Soldier, he was practicing. He wasn't good at all with the shield. Where in this movie, he got it.
He is owning it.
He's a pro with it now. He's
Yeah.
like throwing it around and moving around. I was like, oh shit, he knows what he's doing with it now. Because
Yeah.
last time we saw him, he's all like, how do I do this?
Hmm.
So
Oh yeah.
because it's been like 3 years.
Mm.
So
Yep.
he's a pro at it now. And I'm
Yeah.
yeah, you happy to see that.
Yeah.
Um
So
Also in this movie, you really speaking of him being like Captain, he feels like he's Captain America. Like
yeah, that's good. You mentioned
I
it earlier.
don't miss Steve Rogers. I'm not looking for Steve Rogers when I'm watching the movie. I'm just like, no, this is his movie. This is Sam Wilson's movie. He's a good leading man, because that's one of my
That's
worries.
true.
Like, is he going to be a good leading man? Yes, he is a good leading man. He does it.
That's
He
true.
he feels like a leader. He takes control, and especially we see him working with Ross, who's played by
Hmm.
Harrison Ford. You see that tension between the two characters, because
Right.
last time they saw each other was in Civil War.
Hmm.
So because Ross is
Yeah.
a big character in Civil War as well. He's the
Right.
reason why they start the Civil War.
Yeah. The
So
Sokovia
it's a
Accords.
yeah. So there's some tension because he's trying to work with
Hmm.
him, and it's like they both kind of like, no, I'll work with you. It's like a uneasy coworker kind of thing when you go to work
Hmm.
and you got to work with someone you don't like. That's kind of the
Yeah.
tension going on with
Right.
them. And
Because Ross is the president of the United States, and so the original Captain, well, the first black Captain America, Isaiah, is that his first name?
I
Isaiah.
think so. Yeah.
And so he's there's like a there is a community of like people that we get introduced to, but there's a tension of like, well, I don't want Captain America to be working with the president, this guy, so there's obviously tension between that concept, and he's like, look, I gotta keep my eye on him, and so that's important for me so that I can, I have to work with him, I really do, so I can know what's going on.
Right, because Sam mentions like it's a good look for Captain America to be working alongside with the president, despite who the president is. Maybe think a little bit.
I mean, I did feel like they were saying a little bit of that, like, because they kept saying it didn't matter who the president was, it's still significant to be able to stand next to them, because they were like, hey, we're going to go to the White House. It's like, yeah, I don't care who the president is. The fact that we're going to the White House is important. They kind of mentioned that a couple times. And so I feel like they could have been saying something about that,
Yeah.
So
now my critique with Harrison Ford that I had after I watched it was that of course he's grumpy. He always plays a grumpy guy.
Yeah,
that's Harrison Ford, and it made me realize after watching this movie, he's never played the villain before, has he? I can't think of a movie where he's played the bad guy. Even though he's that grumpy good guy. That's usually what he plays. Mm-hmm. And so he's more of an antagonist type character in this movie. Because General Ross is usually an antagonist type character.
Yeah, I do feel like I did not like him in the other movies that I've seen him in. He was always the most annoying person in the room to me.
Harrison this guy, Ford, like, F this guy,
right? Thing, But Harrison Ford playing him, I got that he's grumpy, but I like Harrison Ford, so it's kind of like I kind of like this guy.
It's the equivalent to seeing Denzel in Gladiator 2.
Yeah,
he's a villain, but Denzel has played villains though. But he's played a lot of villains,
and he's always likable in every villain. You always like him.
Yeah, exactly. So Harrison Ford playing this character, I was like, well, I like him now. I like this character now because Harrison Ford is playing him. He's still
right.
Because he got some stuff going on with him. It's like,
which I mean, it kind of
bad for him.
But and that's the thing. They do play on that too. Like, visited, like, lost his tension with his daughter, and he's like, I'm a new man, and he's trying to like be different. So you kind of see the narrative behind that, and so you kind of have a little bit of hope in him that he's different. But because of the way that he played it, it does make you believe it more. And so, like, when you hear Isaiah say, "Why would we be with the president?" You're like, "Well, it's Harrison Ford. Like, why not?"
I know. Like, come on, this guy's likable no matter what he's. Yeah, he's grumpy. So, he's likable. He's just That's just how he is. So it's like, maybe that's why. I don't know.
I don't know if they could have done it any different. I think that, like, ideally, R.I.P. The guy would have been there.
William Hurt.
Yeah, so but having, I don't know what another cast would do. I think Harrison Ford did a good job.
Yeah, of course he did. I'm just saying he just made the character a little bit more likable. So it's like, well, now I like him.
Yeah,
I didn't like this character before. Now I like him.
So now when I rewatch the other shows and see, like, this is where he's going to end up. Like, okay, well, let's see if I can see his side a little bit more. Because I'm like, he has his reasons behind what he does, and he's not just a selfish jerk, that hates superheroes. You know what I mean? Like, so that's kind of what it felt like. It's like he just hates everybody that's a superhero. Like, he's just like angry against superheroes.
I know, like J. Jonah Jameson. I always liked J. Jonah Jameson. I never, even though he's kind of an antagonist type character, but.
Yeah,
Jameson is usually kind of likable because he's
right.
So that's what I felt like, and I felt like General Ross wasn't usually like that. He's usually like, no, I hate this guy.
Yep. So is that enough for non-spoiler? Because I mean, I don't know what else did you want to mention.
I do want to mention the Falcon.
Oh yeah, is that on the trailer?
Yes, definitely. He's in the trailer. He's definitely in the trailer. It's not a surprise. Plus, he's in Falcon and Winter Soldier. He's in the show.
Oh,
yeah, he's in the show. Watch it again. Okay. He didn't come out of nowhere.
That's the thing. Is like I didn't read, like I said, I didn't rewatch a lot, so I know that there's a lot of different nuggets in there from other shows and stuff that that was obvious if you just was paying attention. So it wasn't even like a Easter egg. It was just, this is just a character that we
Yeah,
just
it's another
reused.
character, and I realized having him in there, that's what makes Sam Wilson more Captain America, because you can't say, well, that's Falcon, because somebody else is Falcon.
Yeah.
Somebody else is
Yep.
doing that. So it's like,
And
well,
he's
he's Captain
learning, like
America.
he's a kid, and so like I do like that dynamic, because he's like, you know, he looks up to the Falcon, like he's like, this is my hero, like I really want to be the Falcon, like that was his thing, you know. I was like, that's really cool to have someone look up to him like that. Like he wasn't looking up to Captain America, he was looking up to Sam Wilson the Falcon, and he wanted to be the Falcon. And
Yeah,
so that's why he wanted to he take him under his wing, literally. And so I
yeah,
think that was something that was really helpful to see Sam Wilson like evolve as a mentor. Because I mean,
yes,
the thing is, even with Captain America, like he wasn't necessarily mentor, like it wasn't
yeah. He
it wasn't
wasn't
a
like he
mentor
was.
mentee relationship. He was like he was a sidekick or
He
teammate, you
barely
know.
felt like a, yeah. I was gonna say
Yeah,
he
he was
barely
a
felt like
teammate. Yeah,
a
a
sidekick. Yeah, it
sidekick.
was more of a
He was
teammate.
definitely a teammate, and so that made it more like his ownership as a leader. Like, oh yeah, that's easy transition. Like, it's not like he's just a kid trying to figure out what he's doing. Like, he
Plus, Black Widow
knows.
was always there. Whenever Sam Wilson was working with Steve Rogers, Black
Mm,
Widow was there too. If you notice, she was in all
yeah,
those too. So this
I
you
even
know,
forgot about that. So yeah, like this
yeah,
is
she was
where,
in two of the movies. She was in Winter Soldier and Civil War.
yeah, that's
So
right. And we did mention, I don't know if this isn't spoiling anything, but there, you know, we're obvious that this is after a lot of the Avengers. The Avengers are no longer an organization.
yeah,
And
yeah,
so
we're
half of the
it's,
team is basically dead, right?
yeah, and the other half is retired,
Yeah.
raising children.
Retired raising children.
So we don't know. It's like they just kind of up in
Where
the air.
is
Maybe that's why
where's
everybody wanted
Nick
to see this movie.
where's Nick Fury at?
Invasion. Remember? That's where we saw him last.
I'm saying, where is he?
Uh, he's in space. That's what it
Yeah,
is.
okay.
Actually, last time we saw him was in the Marvels. So he
Yeah.
was in space in the Marvels and in Invasion and in Spider Man. So he's been in space this whole
He's just in
time.
space. Yeah, he's just in
Right? Yeah.
space.
So
He's like, I'm
that's where
done with
Nick Fury is.
done
He's
with
in
this
space.
planet. It's like, y'all can keep the whole planet. I'm tired.
They done put
So
General Ross as president. I'm getting off the planet for this.
I'm leaving the planet for this.
I want that big
Okay.
red monster being president.
Oh man.
in
Big
this fictional world, because it's not in real life.
No, yeah. I'm glad he didn't make him orange. The orange Hulk. That would have been something. It's like, you couldn't say you weren't saying nothing about that. But anyway.
So I guess we can go into spoilers, because
Yeah, so
because
go
favorite
ahead.
characters, I put favorite characters, but I'm like, we can mention favorite characters after
Okay.
we talk about the spoiler stuff, because
Yeah, that's
there's
fine.
characters we did not mention because they're
No,
not
we
shown
didn't
in the
mention a
trailer.
couple. Yeah.
There's quite a few
Okay, yeah,
characters
that's
we
true.
didn't mention.
All right.
So, last warning for spoilers.
Yeah, I mean, you know, watch it, check it out. It's a couple hours. You know,
All right.
but I don't know how
Thanks
much you
everybody for
can
watching. You can
whatever.
follow us.
I'm not even gonna put the music there. I mean, honestly, like even with spoilers, I feel like the biggest spoiler was in the trailer. Like there was nothing
Yes,
else.
100%. The biggest spoiler was in the trailer, but there's a character that was
Yeah,
not.
there's a character.
So now we're in spoilers. Officially
Yeah.
spoiler territory. All right, you've been
Mhm.
warned. Okay.
Okay.
So, there's a character that they should have showed, to me, should showed in the trailer instead of Red Hulk. They should have switched places. And that character is the leader. His name was Sam Stern. So
Mhm.
this guy, he's from The Incredible Hulk. Like, for those who don't remember the Incredible Hulk movie, the one with Ed Norton,
That's
long time ago.
MCU. That's the
The
MCU
second,
canon.
yes, the
Mhm.
second MCU movie. Because Iron Man was number one, and the Incredible Hulk came out that same summer.
Yeah.
And it was number
We
two. It
overlooked
counts.
that because we changed characters. We changed the Hulk, Bruce Banner. But
Yeah,
it's-
yeah.
But it is the same universe.
Yes,
It's just
definitely same
recasting.
universe. and the guy that played Sam Stern, he
It's the same actor.
same exact actor. Yeah,
Hmm.
he was helping Bruce Banner, and like something happened to him. Some gamma radiation fell on him or something, and his head started growing. And he looked at the camera, smiled, and that was it. You
That
haven't
was the last
seen
time you
him.
seen him.
That's the last time you saw him.
And that was
17 years
17
later,
years ago. 17 years ago.
until now,
Till today.
yes. And so,
So
which
he's a villain.
yes, which he's a villain in the comics. So, and people at the time, nerdy nerds, knew who he was.
I
the
didn't know
time.
who he was, but Josh said I did his voice in one of his things. So
Yes, you did. You
apparently,
did.
I still didn't know who he was, even though I was doing his voice.
He's
'Cause
a
I
Hulk
just-
villain. That's
yeah,
why.
yeah. I don't really pay attention to Hulk villains too much, but I mean, he looks weird, so I do feel like it's not necessarily a trailer attractive people like, ooh, I want to see this guy, like he's not.
Right. He's
You
not a
know,
big enough character for people
Yeah,
that
and right, exactly.
Yeah.
So he's not a big enough character. Like people can see, like what, like even if they're not a superhero person, they'll see a giant red Hulk and they're like, "That's a red Hulk. Why is Hulk red?" They might say that,
Right, but this guy kind of looks like Megamind, though.
Yeah,
That's kind
Which
of the thing.
he does, and I think they could have played on that because they could have showed him because there was a couple scenes where he's in a shadow and he looks really, really creepy and cool. Like you see his green eyes lighting up and stuff.
Yes,
And
they
so
could
that would
show
have been
that.
great. That would have
Yes.
been great on the trailer. You're like, wait, who is that? Like, so I feel like I do feel like trailer, which should be like more, who is that? What is this going to be about? Then let me give you all the cards. Here you go. Cause I'm like, they just straight up showed Harrison Ford's face in the Hulk. And we're like, okay. So my question now is, when is he going to finally turn into the Hulk?
Right, because he's teasing. Because the whole plot is that the leader is he basically gave Ross some pills that was transforming him eventually, and he was basically. So what we didn't mention was like Isaiah, the first black Captain America, was basically framed, or more like what's the
Mind
name?
control.
Mind control to attack.
Assassinate the president.
Yeah, right. But not necessarily assassinate, but just attack him along with some other guys. They just so basically
they weren't. Yeah,
yeah. The leader was trying to piss him off. That's basically what he was doing. That
he
was
wanted him to turn
line.
into the Hulk.
So yeah, he was so he can embarrass him, basically, to show like, hey, look, he doesn't deserve to be president. He turned to a big red Hulk kind of thing.
So that honestly was a piece that I was kind of missing, like the plot line, because I was trying to figure it out. Like I saw that, but I also felt like that was a little too much brain for the action. So like the action and the amount of like strategy didn't balance in my mind enough. It was just action packed, like fighting, shooting, like even that scene, like there was no, like it didn't make any sense of why he was trying to do it. I just saw him running, shooting, fighting, dodging, and that was like, if you look at the script, I'm pretty sure 67 minutes of the movie is action. Like just,
that much action.
I mean, it's a lot. It
is.
And so
I guess because a lot of the action is Sam is not in the suit. He only gets in the suit twice in the entire movie.
Interesting.
The 2 suits.
Yeah, that's right.
That's it.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that.
I did, because I was like,
just
waiting. Yeah, quite feel like a superhero movie, but it does. It feels like what you call a political thriller type thing.
That's probably what it was. That also, because I think they had some kind of, it was a political agenda that I didn't understand, because I was trying to figure out what you just explained what it was, because I was like, okay, that makes sense. He was trying to get him to turn.
Yeah, and he was doing that because Ross promised the leader that he would basically get him out of prison once he's become president, and
which it was obvious that like he basically kept him in the basement to use his brain for him to be successful.
Right,
he's his personal slave. That's what it was.
Yes, that's what it was. So, which definitely goes in character with Ross, because he's not a good person.
Yep.
But Harrison Ford is playing him, so it's like, well, I can't believe he would do that. But
why would he
about the
keep
last
him
guy
in? Yeah, it's like, of course he would keep him in there. So
yeah,
why wouldn't he get him out? So yeah, like you kind of felt like, so you said you kind of feel sorry for Ross in this, because he's being attacked. He's just trying to negotiate things. And I did feel like I did have some suspicions of like what they were looking for, but that's another plot piece And that's from is that
Yeah.
from Immortals?
Yes, there was a big giant monster
Celestial
celestial in the
that
ocean
came out of
because
the
of
Indian
yes,
Ocean.
because of the Eternals.
Yeah.
And so they addressed that, but they are now introducing antimanium into the MCU, which for me I was like too little too late. Because the
Yeah.
last MCU movie was literally Wolverine.
Right,
We
right.
literally saw
Animanium. He
Wolverine.
already has
So
animanium. So
right, he has animanium in his. So it's like, well, we what? Because otherwise they'd be like, oh, they're gonna bring in Wolverine. No, we already got
Wolverine's already
Wolverine.
in the universe.
Right,
He's there.
he could pop in
Yeah.
anytime. So
So yeah, I do feel like that was one of those things that kind of like anticlimactic in a sense because it's like,
yeah,
oh, animanium, oh, but it was kind of like, to me.
it was for me too. Because I was like, I would have said, ooh, if Deadpool and Wolverine didn't come out. I guess
Maybe,
maybe
maybe,
even earlier. If it was like earlier on, like
but it
back
that
when
felt,
Endgame happened or something.
but it was like, why though? Like, why was it like, okay, okay, vibranium was a thing, and I was thinking like, it was, I know vibranium is powerful, and that's where Bucky's arm was and stuff like that, and the shield I think is vibranium, and so there's a lot of,
Right, exactly. So it's like they
and
have
his wings I think is vibranium now,
exactly.
so
So it's like
there's a
we
lot of
don't really
vibranium,
need
and it's
antimanium.
right, and it's super powerful. It's like, oh my goodness, and so it's kind of like it didn't feel like a win, and it wasn't like they weren't able to work with Wakandans. Like it was like, oh yeah, Wakanda hates you, because there was a point where he said, now we can start mining for antimanium and not have to go through the Wakandans, as if the Wakandans weren't generous with the pieces that they were given. Like they ain't just gonna give it, but they ain't gonna use it for like, y'all ain't gonna just use it to make yourself wealthy. And so that's kind of, I guess that's what they want to use the antimanium for. So
Yeah.
anyway,
Um. So other characters they had in this movie, uh, Giancarlo Esposito.
he was one that was trying to sell the antimanium, right?
I don't know. Now
Or
his
buy
part I
it.
have no idea, but I found
Yeah,
out
I
he was
think he
like
was.
a character that's in the comics though.
Yeah, because he was
Um.
trying to. He had the container and he was trying to sell it, and I think they were made up a buyer or something. That was another thing that was confusing. But he was also he was him. He was that guy. He was he played
Yeah.
himself.
I don't know what happens to him though. Oh, I know he's always. I mean, like while we said that Harrison Ford always plays the good guy, Giancarlo Esposito
Always
always plays the
plays,
bad guy.
and he plays the smooth, cool villain that knows what he's doing, that
Right.
never loses his cool, like, and that's him in this movie. So I
Of
think
course, he plays himself. No?
yeah, that's how he is. You met him,
Kinda. I was intimidated by him.
He's very intimidating. But no, I think he was like, he was, I think he wasn't in jail, but he basically told him about the leader, I think, at one point.
Yeah, he did. He's like,
Yeah.
yeah, and he was able to get away.
So that was the deal. He was like, "Hey, I tell you something.
I
I
think
tell
we
you
will
something. You
see
let me
him
go.
again.
Yeah. So if you let me go, then I got you." So it's like, all right, well, let's negotiate. What you got? So
Another character they had that was pretty interesting that we didn't mention was President Ross's special security.
Yeah.
She was a trip.
Right.
And
Yeah.
apparently, because it kind of reminded me of Black Widow, and I was like, "Oh, because she was
from
the Black
one.
Widow
Yeah.
program. That's what
That
it
makes
was.
sense. Yeah, she definitely is. So yeah, that was good. I liked her character. She was really.
I did
interesting.
too.
I don't
Yeah,
remember
'cause,
her
like,
name, but she was a good character. You
what
have her
was-
figure? Oh.
No, they didn't really figure out her.
Oh, I was wondering.
Character name was Ruth.
Okay.
Ruth Batsroff.
Okay.
I don't know, but Ruth.
Ruth.
And her character grew on me because I thought it was going to be she's going to be like an antagonist to Sam Wilson, and she ended up working with him.
Right.
Like
when he said they got somebody on the inside. It was her.
Right. Well, the person he had on the inside was the black girl.
Oh,
I thought that was kind of obvious.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was kind of obvious.
Yeah.
It was like too obvious. Like, come on,
right?
All black people know each other. You already know.
Okay.
She went to high school with him.
Oh my goodness. So her, but then the other girl was the one that was like, lethal, that could, do Black Widow stuff.
Right. Since we don't have Natasha in this movie.
Yeah.
then we got a Natasha replacement basically.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but yeah, she was cool. So
yeah, because like one of my critiques also was, now we're in spoiler and stuff, is so Isaiah is arrested.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't want to go back to jail because he just got out.
Right.
And so it's like, he's crying and stuff, but Sam's like, trust me, I'm going to figure this out, And so he's in prison because he's trying to, he tried to kill the president, but he was, mind control.
And I mean,
and then they figure it out pretty quickly that these guys are.
Hold up for a second as you saying that. Now, he wasn't the only one that was trying to kill the president.
Exactly.
But he was the only one in jail.
Now you make it sound like it's a race thing. What actually these guys were arrested too. They were all in jail too, but they were all killed.
Okay,
they were all killed. He wasn't killed. That's what it was. Because that girl Ruth was trying to move him to a special facility by himself. Because he was like, I ain't going nowhere. She was like, no, it's for your protection. Because the other ones, they died. Somebody came and shot them. Mm-hmm. But I was going to say was they figure out the movie.
Yeah,
figures out like all the main characters figure out very quickly that these characters
were mind controlled,
and it was obvious
so
quickly.
It was obvious,
and
it wasn't a big secret.
And they knew everything. Like, they saw all the evidence.
They play this song, and everybody switched. They flash a light,
all that stuff.
Like they figured it out within 5 minutes.
Exactly, really quickly. Like every main character figured it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yet
he stayed in jail to the end of the movie. He stays in jail to the end of the movie.
Right, to the point where I'm like, everyone in this fucking movie knows he's innocent, and he's still in prison.
Yep.
So that would kind of left, I guess, less tension for me with that.
Yeah,
General Ross even knows. I mean, President Ross.
I feel like it. Yeah, that was definitely one of those things that they should have removed him out of as soon as they found out, and it would have been cool. It would have been cool to see him fight a little bit more, because they showed him a little bit, and you're fighting against him, which was unique.
Yeah, he was the MacGuffin though. He was the reason that was driving Sam to save,
which is great. It's like I want to make sure friend out of jail. Yeah, so
that's what it was.
Of course, the Black of Captain America had to get his black friend out of jail.
Yep, black people got to stick together. Oh, here we go. The black people, Black History Month. Oh, that's the only reason why he got to be Captain America.
Oh, my goodness. All right.
So we get a cameo.
Yeah.
We get a quick cameo from the only character to appear in every single Captain America movie. Officially, yep. Because it's like you got to have him there because he appears in every single one of them. Yeah, he's literally every single one of them. So he outdid Chris Evans. Mm-hmm. Chris Evans is not the cameo, by the way. Oops. Because if it was Chris Evans, then it'd be like, oh, he's appeared in every Captain America movie.
Yeah. Which I'm glad they didn't put. I'm glad they didn't have Chris Evans cameo in this.
Yeah, I'm glad too. But I wish Mark Ruffalo cameoed.
Yeah, that's the thing. You told me that I was like, what movies should I watch before watching this? Even though I was like walking into the theater. So I wasn't going to watch anything. He was like, this is actually Hulk, a sequel to Hulk. And I was like,
it really is. It literally is.
So why do you think Mark Ruffalo should have been in this?
Because this is all his people. They literally show all his people. Like everybody this is a sequel to the Hulk, the Incredible Hulk. With General Ross, being because he was the main villain. The leader, he's a Hulk villain, and he was in the Hulk movie. Even Betty Ross makes an appearance because, he reunites with his daughter, so she's and it's the exact same actress. Yeah. So she from that movie, so she's back, but she's not. She's got more of a cameo as well, even though she has like a phone call with him in one part of the movie. But this felt like I told Jason earlier that I said Sam Wilson is not replacing Captain America. He's replacing the Hulk. That's what it feels like. Yeah, this feels like this is the Hulk's movie, but with Sam Wilson as Captain America. So it's like a little confusing. So that's why I was like, well, you could have had Mark Ruffalo come in, which is funny because the What If episode I was telling you about when they're doing kind of a Power Ranger type thing. And I said that one established Sam Wilson as Captain America in that episode. Okay. And the whole plot was that he's trying to reunite with Mark Ruffalo with Bruce Banner because they're close.
Yeah, okay.
And so and they played themselves because Anthony Mackie's in that and Mark Ruffalo's in that. So it's like, well,
so
they could have together.
They could have had a reunion in this if they wanted to. So
yes, they definitely could have. Like we could have had a quick Mark Ruffalo, like, oh, you shouldn't trust Ross, because we haven't seen Mark Ruffalo's Bruce Banner interact with General Ross at all.
Yeah,
it's always been kind of
true. That's interesting. So
yeah, but we got Bucky, and I was kind of upset that Bucky wasn't in there longer.
Why?
Mainly because that's where I like the banter between Sam Wilson and Bucky. I'm like, oh man, this is what we need. I love this. Like they work so well off of each other.
And that makes you think
they're
about
friends in real life and everything.
Yeah. So the actual actors are friends, and you can feel it. I think that's what made the movie, the TV show, that was good. They had their, kind of buddy cop adventure, type thing. And so there was definitely that. And I feel like, that was a missing piece because it wasn't like that with the Falcon in this movie. Like he didn't really have a banter. He was kind of a kid to him. So it wasn't like
right. And Sam was serious through the whole movie.
Yeah, he was. That's another thing. So like, that's the thing that I think I mentioned to you earlier is like, I feel like with superhero movies, what I sense the epicness of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they have like increased the level of threat to threat level midnight. But I mean, like the threat level is like to the extreme. So it's like a superhero doesn't deal with regular people problems. That's why I loved about the show when Sam Wilson was dealing with regular people problems, like,
oh yeah.
And so it's kind of like, so I kind of miss that. And that's something that like, I like about, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, you know what I mean? Like when he deals with regular people problems and stuff like that, that gives me helps me to get into the character and the personality. But typically with this, he has Sam Wilson does not have a secret identity. He is he's sitting in the bar and it's like, hey, Cap, so it's like,
drinks on us, Cap. Yeah,
so it's like, and then he's
like that. I like that. Because years went by and they accepted him as Captain America.
I like that, the fact that they accept him, but I was just saying like the normalcy of the part of the character that I miss. And maybe it's because they're dealing with so much, epic challenges, like world-changing things.
He's like personal security to the president.
Yeah.
So he wouldn't be just a poor black man that's Captain America.
I wasn't thinking of poor. I was just thinking like, dealing with
he was poor in Falcon.
Yeah, he was poor. He was poor. He's straight now. He's good. He's driving. He's got security.
This is the first movie he's not poor in. I think about it. He definitely established that he was poor in all the other movies.
Right. But I was just mentioning like, if he had to deal with, and this may be more grounded type content. It's like when you deal with issues that, criminals or thugs or, systems that's local and that's not necessarily world domination changing, And so
but that's the difference between Captain America and Spider-Man,
Yeah.
Like Spider-Man, that's why Spider-Man and like Daredevil, they're more for the people.
Yeah.
Because they're on the ground.
Right.
While Avenger-like heroes are more for the bigger threats. That's what Captain America's saved for, and Iron Man and them. That's what I got from it.
I get that, and I do think that this Captain America he could have done both. But we get what we get. Now, the couple of cool scenes that I thought were like beautiful. Like I love the Japanese cherry blossoms, the pink flowers, like the scenes that were beautiful. Like the way they did that scenes and like the fight scenes and stuff like that. He was pretty powerful. Like you can blame his suit. I do think he should have drunk the serum.
Oh, I do too. Obviously, he even says it. He said, "Bucky's full of shit. I should have took that serum."
So
That was the blackest thing he said in the
you
movie.
think he will? Do you think he ever will? Because I feel
I
like
don't think he will. I think they're going to keep him like that because that's one of the main reasons why he's Captain America, because he's the guy that it's like he's like on Teen Titans. He's like Robin. Robin is the character, is the
Mhm.
one Teen Titan that doesn't have superpowers, but he's the leader. You know,
Yeah,
like
I got
he's
it.
got more to prove, kind of thing. You know, so
Yeah, he
that's how I
definitely
kind
has
of
that.
feel.
Yeah, so I get it. Well,
Yeah. So
are
favorite
we on
character,
favorite
and
characters?
yeah, I mean, it's obviously Sam Wilson.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
hard to not say
yeah,
anybody else.
yeah, obviously, yeah, because it's like I said, the movie wasn't at the top tier for me. Like I said, I gave it a replay, but
Yeah,
I loved Sam Wilson.
yeah,
You know, like I loved everything about him. I said that's what got it for me. And I was like, I didn't know. You know, Anthony Mackie is actually one of my favorite actors, and
yeah.
I'm glad to see him progress, get
Oh yeah,
level
this
up
was
and
a
stuff.
like I'm
So
I
yeah,
yeah, and we mentioned it. I do. I mean, I don't disagree. I think he definitely held his own, and I feel like that he deserves the accolades. I mean, it's going to be, and I mean, I don't know. I didn't really watch a lot of other reviews or hear. I know you mentioned that you agree with some of the reviews that people have said. So, like, I'm curious what
oh
they
yeah, I'm pretty
have
much agree with
said.
all the reviews.
What they said. I don't know if there's any racism people saying that this isn't my
I don't
Captain
watch
America.
racist people's
Oh, okay.
reviews.
This ain't
I'm
my
not worried
Captain
about them.
America.
I
Okay,
know I ain't
okay.
worried about that. The
So,
people
but
I
I think
watch are
he,
pretty neutral. So
yeah. So they give you real comic book feedback, and so yeah. But
yeah,
I mean, he was good. And of course, I love Giancarlo Esposito. He's just a cool guy to like. So,
yeah.
but I don't know if
I
his
was
character was necessary in this movie.
no, it was more of a
He was just
yeah,
really
more of a
cool.
distraction kind of
So
thing.
yeah, I just liked him.
I did like. I guess second character would be it had to be between Ross and the girl Ruth.
Hmm.
Between those two,
I got you.
because I like I said, I like the girl. I wasn't expecting to like her, and
Yeah.
she's cute. She's a cutie, but aside from that, she was badass. So, and then I like
Hmm.
that she figured things out pretty quickly. She was actually smart and was like, "Okay, I'm gonna work with you, Sam." Immediately, so that's what I like because I
Hmm.
was expecting her to be like, "Oh no, you're the bad guy and shooting at him and stuff."
Yeah.
It's like, no, she's
Yeah.
like, no,
No, she
she
didn't.
figured
It
it
didn't take
out
her
pretty
time.
quickly
It was
and went
pretty
to
quick.
his side quick. And I said,
Yeah.
okay,
That
that's
was
what I
easy.
like. I like when a
Yeah.
character does that.
Yep.
So
Well, we already said our rating, so that's the movie. Check it out. Let us know if you're gonna watch it. So yeah,
yeah, let's tell people where to follow you at.
Smiley Jason underscore smileyjason.com. Yeah, that's me.
And you can find me as Prop Josh on everything. Prop Josh underscore productions on Instagram. I have made a Black Avengers video on my YouTube channel, and I plan to make
Okay.
more. I
All
actually
right.
had put a poll up asking people if they want to see. It was between that and like a few other things, and the Black Avengers was voted second. So, which means people, and at first, before it was voted second, it was number one for a while.
So
So
what made you do a Black Avengers?
I had realized that there
Because
was a
you got
lot of.
woke.
I woke up anyway. I realized there was a lot of black heroes in the MCU, and they were all. It was all diverse enough with their powers, and it was basically almost like the sidekicks, but not really. But they
They
were
had
all like, because
enough
you had a black
powers.
Iron Man, you had a black Thor, you had a black Captain Marvel, and I was like, wait a minute, all these people who are like the replacement of these other heroes, just put them together. They can be their own Avengers.
They have the power level enough to be Avengers.
Right.
But
Because
yeah, so that
they're
makes sense.
literally the replacement of all these other heroes. So I was like,
Hmm.
let's put them all together and be, and make it
Okay.
kind of serious and stuff. Because I was like, there are a lot of black people in the MCU that can hold their own.
Yeah, I think
And
that's
that's
a.
what I liked about the What If episode, because a lot
Hmm.
of those characters I put together are in that What If episode.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I was like, oh,
Okay.
snap.
Well, I
So
think
I
that's
want to do
part of
more.
the. I think that's part of the final thought, man. Like, but Happy Black History Month. Black people make a positive impact on America, and so yeah, I mean, and we're heroes. So You're welcome. Good night.